Hi, Madison.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining us on today's podcast.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
I'm very excited to have you here.
Oh, thank you.
I feel like we should start with the topic of the moment, which is, of course, your relationship.
We're just friends. Me and Pat have grown up together, so going from being together 24/7 to absolutely nothing was just, I feel like it would have made it so much harder for both of us. And yeah, we're just so involved in each other's lives. We support each other in what we're doing, and yeah, it just kind of made sense to stay friends, I guess.
And how do you feel that everyone is so involved in your relationship and wanting to know so much about you two?
Yeah.
What's happening now? Would you prefer that it was just about you?
Yeah, a bit. I think I did put too much out there on the internet, and I think if I could do it all again and do YouTube again, I would keep him on my channel and do the challenges we did together, but maybe not put our relationship out there as much as I did, because I did give quite a lot away. So when we did Breakup, it was kind of like my subscribers broke up with Pat as well. It was a bit so...
Because you guys both did the breakup video, which we watched, and that was emotional.
Yeah.
And I guess, you said that was because your followers, your viewers had been on a journey with you two, and it was kind of for them. Tell me a little bit about doing that, because it's a big thing to do.
Yeah, it was a big thing. And me and Pat spoke about it for a while, and we wasn't going to do the video, but every single comment in a video where I was talking about PLT or talking about a vlog or every video was just, have you and Pat split up? Have you and Pat split up? And we thought we was making it quite obvious because I wasn't wearing my engagement ring anymore and wasn't really talking about each other on each other's channel and whatever. So we just thought we're going to have to address this once and for all, let everyone know that we're actually on good terms. I think when YouTube couples break up, everyone always sides with someone. So we didn't want that. We didn't want people being like, she cheated or he cheated or whatever. We just wanted a fairly neutral kind of, we broke up, but it's fine. We're still friends, whatever. So that was what was important about that video, I guess. But we had broken up probably a month and a half before the video. And we did that because we wanted to make sure that this is definitely what we was going to do. And it kind of gave us time to get over it as well. Breaking up's not easy, obviously. And when it's online as well, it makes it 10 times harder, because when we did the breakup video, it was kind of like we was breaking up all over again. So it was a difficult period, I guess, but we're both good now, and I think it's taught us a lot of lessons in what we show on the internet and stuff.
And was there a reason that you didn't share the reason you broke up? Because a lot of people are still wondering and still asking.
I just think, like I said, the relationship was so out there that when we did break up, it was kind of a realization right, we need to kind of chill out now with what we share about our personal life. And that was the first step of doing that, kind of, we don't have to share everything. So breakups are personal. I mean, sometimes you can break up and not even tell your friends or family why you've actually broke up. I mean, you probably would, but it's just one of them things. Only you and that person know what's actually going on in the relationship. So we just wanted to keep it like that, really. Because not many of my friends or family know why we actually broke up. So, yeah,
I'm quite shocked at that.
Yeah. We've kept it pretty private between us. So
do you think that that's something you may ever share with, your fans, with your subscribers, or is it something you do want to keep?
I think we'll probably just keep it to ourselves. I'm happy to do that. And it's just, I think for Patrick as well, he's obviously in the relationship as well. So it's not fair for me to be like, this is what happened. This is why we broke up. And Pat's there hello, I'm in it as well. So I did it more for him as well. Yeah.
Now, you've both been so heavily involved in each other's lives on your YouTube channels. For yours especially, Madison.
Yeah.
I think your first video, Patrick's in it. The one that I've seen, the first video, so I think it was a vlog. You were on a photo shoot.
Oh my
I'm taking you back now because you're like, shit, I've done so many YouTube videos. Honestly. Which one is it?
Yeah, Patrick's on the first video, and I think the second one as well, maybe. He was pretty much in everyone at the start because I was like, Pat, I can't do this on my own. So he was the main supporter, I guess, of my YouTube channel, because not really many other people didn't really understand what I was doing. My mum and dad had no idea. So Pat was the only person like, you can do this, Mads, like, you've got this. So yeah, I was like, right, well, you've got to do it with me then.
I love that. So you had a bit of support there.
Yeah.
So your followers have been on this journey with you. Your subscribers have followed you guys, and you got engaged.
Yes.
Of course, at quite a young age. And there were some comments around that. What would you say to people that said you got, or still say you got engaged too young?
I mean, it kind of looks stupid now because we're not together. So the people that were saying that are probably like, see, they were too young. But I think if it feels right, it feels right. And you have got to make sure, I guess. But it's a hard one because I've got friends that, my best friend's just got married at 20 and she's so happy. I've never seen anyone so happy before. Her and her husband are just getting on with it now. They're in Rome at the minute and yeah, they're just living the best life. So I think it just is what works for you, I guess. I am happy that I didn't get married too young, but I mean, some people have done it. My grandparents did it and they're still together now. So yeah, just whatever's right for you.
Okay, and a big question.
Oh, no.
How did it feel when you took the ring off?
Oh, that was a moment and a half. Like, oh, my God. I still have the ring. Pat won't take it back. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, that's kind of... I like it, though, because it's a memory. It's a time in my life that I went through and I would never take anything back. I wouldn't change anything. So I like having that as kind of a part of my life, yeah. But yeah, taking the ring off was not very nice. One, because it's beautiful, like that was the best ring. I loved it. And then all the memories that came with it just kind of slid off as well. So yeah.
I'm getting kind of emotional here.
Thank
you for sharing that. You've mentioned in some of your most recent videos that, and especially in the breakup video as well, that, you know, okay, so this, you are friends for now.
Yeah.
But you'll both never say never. So tell me a little bit about that.
I mean, I can't imagine being with anyone at the minute, but that's not saying anyone else, just anyone in general. I don't know whether that's just because I want to work on myself or whatever, but now it's kind of time for me to do it on my own. So yeah, I think that's what we want to do now. And in the future, if we're still single, if we both come together and we're like, do you know what, let's do it, then yeah.
First of all, it's definitely not embarrassing going through, you know, anxiety, depression, those things. I can see why you're saying that to me, but don't be embarrassed of that. But tell me a little bit more about that, because I didn't know that about you. And do you think that, along with Patrick, do you think that YouTube has maybe helped with some of that?
Definitely. I think YouTube and Patrick, I'd say, are the two biggest helps in that area, I guess, because I'm quite introvert, I'm quite socially awkward, so even now when I go to events and I don't know anyone, I'm kind of in the corner like, hello, I'm so awkward. But YouTube's helped me with that because I think at first you're just talking to a camera and it's fine and it's whatever, you're just in your room, you're on your own or with your friend or whatever. But then when people start watching and commenting, and then when people are actually coming up to you, it kind of makes it more real, like these people are actually watching me. And yeah, that kind of brought me out my shell a little bit more than you would think, I guess. And yeah, sometimes when you get people coming up to you like, oh my God, I watch your videos, you've got to keep that up, what you like on YouTube videos, if that makes sense, because I don't want people to meet me and be like, wow, she's nothing like her videos. So that kind of helped me as well, because I was like, do you know what, I can be confident. That's it's just one of them things. You've just got to bring yourself out your own shell, and only you can do that, if that makes sense. I
find that really interesting, because I think you're not the first YouTuber I've met that has said, you know, I'm an introvert, I'm a quiet person. I'm just sat here like, you saw my face, I was like, what? Like, for everyone listening, my face was like jaw dropped. And it is always the same reaction, because obviously you come across so confident, so bubbly on YouTube. And like I think you are now. So how do you deal with that, like on a day-to-day? So now you're saying that YouTube and Paddy helped you, but now moving forward, how do you deal with it on a day-to-day basis on your own sort of thing now?
I think because working for myself, I have to go to my own meetings and I have to do things by myself. I'm one of them where I used to have to get my mum to call the doctors, even at the age of like
No.
20. My mum would be calling my doctors or my dentist. I can't talk on the phone, but working for yourself, you have to do that. Like
Yeah.
you have to push yourself out of your comfort zone and do things that you wouldn't normally do, I guess, because that's what's gonna make you money. So that's what I started doing, and just naturally I grew to kind of get used to it, and yeah, so now I'm just this confident little thing.
I love it. We love it. Okay, so taking it to when you mentioned before about seeing other people.
Yeah.
Do you think, or what will it be like when you eventually do see other people? Do you see that happening?
I really don't know, because I've been in a relationship for so long. We was together nearly 6 years. I can't imagine being with anyone else at the minute. It's one of them. When it happens, whatever, then we'll see them. But at the minute, it's just, I can't imagine it. It's really weird, and I'm scared of being with someone and comparing them to my last relationship, because that's not fair in the new one. But that's how I feel I would go into a relationship if I was to start in one now. So that's why I'm taking my time out. I've given myself like a year just to make sure I'm single and not speaking to anyone, not, seeing anyone or whatever.
If you were to get into a relationship again, you did touch on it before, would you do anything differently in terms of YouTube, the way you show your relationship? Would you maybe be more private?
Yeah, definitely. I think until I know it's a forever kind of thing, it would be completely private. And even then, I think I wouldn't show as much as I did with Patrick, because just in case, if we did ever break up or whatever, I wouldn't have to do another "we broke up" video, because that was the worst thing ever. But yeah, I definitely would keep things more private, because I feel like sometimes people can kind of feel entitled to know everything about your relationship, and why does his parents not like you, or like, why does this? And yeah, it's stressful. But yeah, I'd definitely keep it more private. Still keep him there if he's good, but yeah, keep him more private.
Okay, thank you. And what advice, I think that a lot of your followers and a lot of your subscribers who have followed your journey would want to know, what advice would you give to anyone going through a breakup?
I think it's hard for me to give advice, because we've stayed friends, and a lot of people, don't stay friends, and some people have had a problem with us staying friends, which is kind of weird. But I would just say, take some time out for yourself, and don't try and get over it too quickly. I know that sounds really silly, but I remember the first 4 days of when me and Patrick broke up was probably 4 of the worst days of my life, but I needed to go through that to kind of cry and whatever, because since then there's been a couple of down days, but never really a day where I've just not wanted to get out of bed or whatever, because yeah, them 4 days were just rough. They were bad. But sometimes, you just need to get all your emotions out there, watch sad films, listen to sad music. That was my daily routine. Wake up, stick a sad song on, cry for a little bit. But once you've kind of got over them 4 days, I watched this YouTube video, and this is how in desperate need I was. I was watching videos on how to kind of get out of sadness. And there was this woman that said, if you're in bed and you feel like you can't get up, count down from 10 like you're going into a rocket ship, and they go 10, 9, and on 1 you have to get up. But if you don't get up on 1, you feel quite silly, so it just kind of forces you to get up and forces you to do things. And it sounds so simple, but it really did work.
I've never heard of that, and I think that's actually really nice for anyone going through anything, that maybe they could try that.
Yeah, it helps.
Yeah, good tip, guys listening.
Yeah.
Okay, so now on to a bit more about you and YouTube. Madison Sarah, I want to know everything about you. So let's take it to the beginning, where you began, how YouTube began.
So I was working at Mac, and yeah.
Hold on, so that's why you're so good at makeup?
I'm not good at makeup, but thank you.
Stop.
That's another thing Patrick did. He knew the manager, so he got me a job. I'm really bad at makeup, so how I got there, I have no idea. sorry, Mac.
You're not bad at makeup at all, though. Literally, I'm sat looking
you.
at her makeup right now and it's flawless, as all of her subscribers
you.
know. Wow.
So I was working at Mac and I was absolutely miserable. I hated it. Yeah, it was.
No way.
It wasn't my favourite job. I was quite young when I was there, so I think a lot of the managers kind of didn't really take a liking to me. I'm not too sure why, but working in retail was hard, man. Like I feel like everyone has to do like a retail job or just to kind of get the experience, because that taught me so much as well. But yeah, I was working and I was miserable, and I'd wanted to start a YouTube channel from the age of like 13. I remember back in the day with like Zoella, and before it was this massive platform. I was watching YouTube pretty much every night with my best friend Nicole, so it kind of started there, and from then I always knew I was going to make one eventually, just at the right time. So it got to, I think I was 18, maybe 18 or 19 when I started, but I was just so miserable at Mac, and I was like, do you know what, in the times where I'm not working, I need to keep myself occupied and keep myself busy, because I'm just going to get depressed about this job that I hate. So me and Patrick went into an old camera shop where they sold used cameras, and I saw a little Sony A5100, and I know Carly Bible used it, so I was like, wow, I need one of them. So I bought that, and I remember everyone was like, are you actually going to use this camera? Because I think it was pretty expensive. I mean, it wasn't expensive because it was used, but it was, it was a fair bit of money to spend on something if I wasn't going to use it. Yeah. So everyone was like, I hope you're going to use it. So just to prove everyone, I made a video that week. I did a little hair tutorial, a sped up one, and a little makeup tutorial, and they were saying you're giving too much away, but I don't know, they just didn't understand the vlog, I guess. But when I put it up, I remember saying, Pat, I've got 2 views. And I was just buzzing off 5 or 10 or whatever. And I don't know what it was. Even though I had quite bad anxiety at the time, I wasn't scared to kind of share it. I'm always one of them where if someone's talking about me, I used to be like, oh my God, oh, please don't talk about me like that. I don't know. I was always pretty conscious of what people say. But I don't know what it was. I was like, you know what? This is my YouTube video. If you want to watch it, then thanks. And yeah, that's how it all started. And then I was uploading 2 videos a week constantly. I didn't have a MacBook to edit on, so I used to borrow Patrick's sister's. So Pat's been a big part of my journey as well. But I used to have to borrow Patrick's sister's, and if it wasn't available, I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I need to put a video up on Sunday. And I used to get really stressed out. Now I'm a bit more chill about it, but I was so stressed if I couldn't put a video up. So yeah, that's my journey. And
look at where you are now.
I know, it's so crazy.
You're literally growing rapidly at the moment. Aww, tell me about that, how the journey's been for you. So from going from that first video to where you are now.
It's been crazy, and I think watching my first couple of videos to watching them now, I've changed so much. I mean, the first ones, oh my God, they are hard to watch. I was so awkward and just like, hello, I am Madison. It sounded so scripted and whatever. Whereas now I'm just like, hey, you all right? What are you doing?
What's good?
Yeah, what's good? It's just very,
you there.
It's just very relaxed and chilled. So watching my first ones is just difficult. But I think it's nice to look back on and see how I've evolved as a YouTuber, which is so weird to say. I still find it weird saying I'm a YouTuber, but yeah, it's a nice journey. It's been a nice process.
So now would you say, is YouTubing your full-time career?
Definitely, yeah, which again is so weird to say. I think YouTube and Instagram, I'd say are both my career now, and I genuinely didn't think you could make a career out of it. I mean, I know people got paid for little sponsorships and whatever. I say little, but that's what I thought in my head. It was just here's some products, here's £10. But yeah, it's just mad that you can actually make this into a full-time career. And I think, YouTube's one of them where it's a bit, is it going to last forever or not? You never know. But it teaches you so many different traits, and it just teaches you a lot to kind of, if you're going into another job, if that makes any sense. Like, it's taught me to be confident. It's taught me to kind of be my own boss, and taught me how to like manage money and whatever, because you have to do all that yourself as well. So and I don't have an agent, so I do all my books, I do all my emails, and yeah, that's what it's taught me, I guess.
How do you juggle being a YouTuber, being your own management, doing your books? Like, wow, I wouldn't even know where to start.
It's pretty hectic. My mum helps me out sometimes, actually, so I've got to shout out my mum. But yeah, it is hectic, but I love being busy. If I have a day where I'm not busy, I'm kind of like twiddling my thumbs, like, don't have anything to do, so I'll give myself something to do. But yeah, I really like being busy, and I think sometimes when you're not really feeling motivated or whatever, and you're replying to emails and filming videos, the outcome at the end is always really worth it. So I always keep that in mind, and that's what helps keep me motivated at the end.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And recently you had an article written about you.
Yeah.
Okay, so I didn't know much about this until I watched your video. So I watched your reaction video.
Yeah.
And then I read the article. And let me just say, for anyone listening who hasn't, they should definitely go and watch that video and read the article, because I was shocked.
Yeah.
So can you tell me a little bit about that? I feel like it's best if it comes from you. So
I get a lot of comments, obviously, with me being, or used to be, in an interracial relationship. That was hard to say. There's a lot of racist, horrible people out there that used to comment things about Patrick, about me, and they were the worst things you could possibly say to someone. Honestly, death threats. There was people saying, I hope my child dies. Honestly, like, not that I've got a child, but I mean, like, my future child. The worst things you could possibly say to someone, and I probably get them. I was getting them for a while on a day-to-day basis. Now it's more like every few days. There'll just be like the odd one, but there's a website that someone put my YouTube channel, and one day my videos just got bombarded. I'm not saying like 5 or 6 comments. I mean like 200, 300 comments of just racial abuse. It's awful. And I think that's another reason why going into my next relationship, I wouldn't really want to share too much, because I felt bad on part. I was like, this isn't his fault. He's not asked. I mean, he's not bothered at all. He's so supportive, but I'm feeling so bad, because I was like, he's not asked for that. When you put yourself out there on YouTube, you're pretty much not asking for hate, because that's not what you do at all, but you are just going to get like the odd comment.
Yeah.
So I kind of knew that when I went into it, but I felt really bad that he was getting it as well. But the comments were just awful, and I try and get rid of them as quickly as possible, because I don't want people to read them, of course, but yeah, they're just awful, awful comments.
From what I've seen, like it what I've read, it is actually disgusting.
Yeah, it's really bad.
And it's upsetting to know that that's happening at all.
Yeah.
So do you think that the fact that the article, because I know through your video, I know that you didn't comment, the son actually tried to turn up to your door, asking for statements, etc., and you didn't want to get involved, you didn't want to make a comment.
No.
But do you think it's, in a way, good that they've shed light on this negative thing that's happening?
Yeah, definitely. When I first saw my name on the article, because it was my sister that came across it, she was on Facebook and she was scrolling through her news feed, and all of a sudden my face pops up and she was like, what the hell? So she read the article and sent it to me and was like, are you really getting this kind of online abuse? And obviously that's upsetting to see as like a family as well, because I don't think they see it either, because I pretty much delete the comments as well as they come. But yeah, when I first saw it, I was like, why did they do it? I asked them not to, but when I read the article, I thought, you know what, they've shed a light on it, I guess, and I'm kind of happy about it, because I don't think many people know that about my channel, and like you just said, you had no idea it was going on, because I do try and get rid of them pretty quickly. So it was kind of nice to share that does happen, and racist people are still out there, because I think a lot of people think it doesn't still happen, and it does, unfortunately. We've not really had it much in public. We've had it a couple of times, but not as much as online. I think people just get a bit confident online, don't they, behind the keyboards. But I am really happy, because I think people in interracial relationships were then messaging me like, oh, we are going through the same thing, and it's not just with outsiders, it's with our parents as well. And yeah, I think it just kind of makes people more confident, like, yeah, you can get hate, yeah, you can get abuse, but as long as you're in a relationship that's loving and you love each other, then that's all that matters, and you can overcome any kind of comments that people make.
And that is all that matters.
That is all that matters, yeah.
So you said there that you've actually experienced some hate in public.
Yeah.
That to me, like, my head nearly fell off. I can't believe that.
Literally me, because, yeah, obviously dating Pat, he's African, so I, as a white person, never really saw any, like, racism in my life. Like, I've never really experienced it myself, so I was completely oblivious to it. Being with him has really opened my eyes to that, and it gets me so upset, because some of the things people have said to him and to me and whatever, it's just awful, awful, awful humans. So, yeah, it has kind of opened my eyes to that. It does still happen. It's around the corner from where we live. It's in town. It's pretty much everywhere. So, yeah.
And do you think the article coming out has kind of helped shape you in regards to respecting other people's relationships?
100%, yeah. I think you never really know what's going on in a relationship, obviously, but I think if you look at someone and you're like, they don't look matched at all, or I think relationships are all about love, aren't they? So that's what I think now. I think when I look at two people, they must be in love. That's all that matters. That's my main, like, motto in a relationship. As long as you're in love, that's all that matters.
Do you think you guys have been through so much together, and I can see you're still going through things now. Yeah. You're a very strong team. I know that you've done videos before on your religion, on your faith. Do you think that has had any help with getting you through these difficult times? 'Cause
massively, yeah. My relationship with God and Pat's relationship with God as well it's so weird to talk about, because I never talk about my religion on YouTube or whatever, but that's played a massive part. I think we was talking about this the other day. Even if, I mean, I don't believe this at all, but even if what we believe isn't right, it's taught us so much in our life. I mean, I was brought up a Jehovah's Witness, and not many people know that.
No.
But being a Jehovah's Witness being brought up in that religion, it's really taught me how to be a good person, if that makes any sense. And it's not all about learning about Adam and Eve and learning about Jesus. It's more about how to live your life healthily and happy, and how you can be in a good marriage. And I think that's what helps us so much as well, because in that religion you kind of get taught about forgiveness, and you get taught about, you know, loving your brothers and sisters. So that's another thing that helps us stay friends, and that's another thing that helps us with everything that we go through as well, because we know we've always got God and we want to make him happy. So, yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that, because I feel like I've just got to know you a whole lot better. But I'd love to know a little bit more about, if you could share. For me, I don't know, a lot about the subject. So I just find it really interesting, because like you said, you don't share that much online.
Yeah.
But could you just tell me a little bit more about
religion? So the reason I don't share it online as well is not because I'm embarrassed. I'm not embarrassed about my religion at all. Like, I will talk to anyone about it. But I think that's why a lot of people kind of had a problem with me saying, yeah, I'm religious, because then they was like, right, so you're not talking about it because you're embarrassed, and I'm not. The reason I don't talk about it is because I'm going to have a lot of different religions watching me. Like, there'll be Muslim girls, or boys, or there'll be, Catholic people, or, there'll be a lot of different people with different religions, different thoughts. There'll be people that don't believe in God at all. So I didn't really want to, push my faith on people and say, this is what I believe and this is right. And I just, that's what I believe. Everyone else is, entitled to believe what they believe. So that's why I didn't want to talk about it too much. I think religion and politics is like a touchy subject. Yeah. So I just wanted to completely leave that aside. But yeah, I was brought up a Jehovah's Witness with my mum. It was just me and my mum. My dad's kind of was in it, not really anymore. And I'm so happy I've been brought up in that religion, because it's really it's a lifestyle, I guess. It sounds stupid, but it is a lifestyle, because I've been taught from a young age that, you know, it's really bad to lie. I know you get taught that anyway, but God will be unhappy if you lie. And the way it's brought me up has kind of made me the person I am. So I've always got to be thankful for my mum constantly taking me to, it's like church, but we don't call it church, we call it a Kingdom Hall. So we used to go twice a week. So I've been going there twice a week since I was younger, I guess. Not really as much anymore, but, you know, I want to get back into that.
That's incredible. And do you think that it affects your day-to-day life at all in any way? Like, being in the 21st century, being in the modern age that we're in, and being an influencer and being a YouTuber, does it impact it at all? I
think so. I think about God a lot. So if I'm doing something and I'm like, I'm not sure whether I want to do this or not, or I'm not sure whether this will be good for my career or good for my future or whatever, I'll always pray about it, and somehow, some way, I'll get my answer. So I think that's played a massive part in my YouTube, obviously. And I think God has a path for us all. This was my path, so, you know, this is the path I've taken. And I think in me personally, like I said, I think he's just shaped me into the person I am. So I'm a very honest person. I'm very just, I think I'm a nice person. I think I'm very loving, and I just love everyone. I think that's what the religion taught me more than anything. There's a scripture that says, love the neighbour. I'm not going to go into like scriptures, but, you know, I think that's made me into a really loving person. So
now, going back to your YouTube and what you're up to, where do you see your YouTube going?
I have no idea. I hope it goes upwards and onwards. I'm still so shocked that it's where it is. So I'm kind of like, okay, where do I take it from here? Because I just never expected it. I really thought it was going to be a little channel that was just going to make me happy, and my friend Nicole was going to watch it because we always used to watch YouTube together, and I thought it was just going to be one of them things that's, you know, a little hobby. I know, it's so weird. It's still so weird. But yeah, I hope that my channel keeps growing, and I'm trying to get better at editing and things like that, because I know a lot of like bigger YouTubers use Final Cut Pro. I'm still on iMovie. I'm like the basics, you know. So
it's working though.
It's working. So yeah, hopefully I'll get better with content and things like that. But yeah, I have no idea where it's going to take me, but I'm very excited.
Well, I watched a YouTube video of yours the other day, and you mentioned that you've got something big coming this year. So I'm wondering if we can spill the tea a little bit in here today. So you've said online that it's maybe not fashion, it's maybe not beauty. So I'm like, okay, girl, what's it going to be?
Okay, this is like a PLT exclusive. So it's kind of fashion, but not fashion. So I'm obsessed. This is going to sound so weird. Oh my God, I'm going to sound like such a weirdo.
I can't wait.
I'm obsessed with lingerie.
That's not weird.
I feel like that's just
I thought
weird
you were going to say something like frog jumpers or like, I don't know.
Ducks.
Duck
sweaters.
Nothing wrong with them, by the way.
No. I mean, but I'm obsessed with lingerie. I feel like it just makes you feel so confident. If you've got a really banging matching set on, you can just be like, yes, I'm sexy, I'm confident. And that's how I want to make women feel. So I think I'm like designing some lingerie bits at the minute.
Oh my God.
Going down like the Victoria's Secret kind of vibe with like robes, silk robes, lotions. It's going to be that kind of vibe. I think I was trying to think of something that could be mine and that I could put out there that I've really worked hard on. And if I did makeup, I'm not really that big into makeup. I enjoy it and I really love filming tutorials, but I wouldn't know the first thing about making like eyelashes or a lip gloss. Or, I mean, Holly, for example, she's incredible. She knows what she's doing, whereas I'd be like, I have no idea. Lingerie is what I know. I know lingerie. So I think that would be a nice route to take. I'm not sure whether it's going to happen.
Okay.
I'm kind of still speaking to people and trying to get things sorted, but that's the dream for the end of the year. So hopefully I'm going to manifest it.
I am so happy with that. Thank you so much for sharing. Well, I'm really excited for everything that you've got coming this year. PLT will keep on, watching and supporting you. We absolutely love you here at PLT. And yeah, I feel like that conversation has just been incredible.
Yeah, it's been up and down. We've had some
We've had
emotional
some moments. You've literally nearly made me cry. You've made me laugh. And I just feel like I've got to know you on a whole new level. And I hope that our listeners at home are feeling the same way as well. Thanks everybody so much for watching. If you want to have a sneak peek into Madison's DMs, head to the podcast in the link below.